Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning into my channel today and taking your time to listen to me blab. Hopefully, some of the things that I say will get into your head. So on this channel, as we know, and for those who don't know, we talk about growing one another and we talk about everything that has to do with growing the youth and growing us as young adults, because these are conversations that we need to have that we keep avoiding with each other. Let's get right into it. So before I start today's topic, I just want to read from this book. Yes, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with it. And I'll explain as to why I'm reading what I am reading. So he starts off by saying, years ago when I was 26, I took a weekend class called How to Buy Real Estate Foreclosures. I learned a formula. And then his next trick was to have the discipline to actually put into action what I had learned. This is where most people stop. And he carries on saying, for 3 years while working for Xerox, I spent most of my time learning to master the art of buying foreclosures, and I've made several million of dollars using this formula. And on the next page, he skips again and says, pay yourself first. The power of discipline. So if you cannot get control of yourself, do not try to get rich. It makes no sense to invest, make money, and blow it. It is the lack of self-discipline that causes most lottery winners to go broke soon after winning millions. And it is the lack of discipline that causes people to get a raise, to immediately go out and buy a new car or take a cruise. And the reason why I read that was because I want to start this video with a bit of some motivation for you guys, because I will be talking about money today, but in a good sense, because isn't it we say we're going to start with baby steps, so we need to baby step this money journey. So today's topic is about making money work for you, or what others would say, making your 9 to 5 work for you. Why I had to put in 9 to 5 is because most of us can relate. So this video will be based around what you can do with your 9 to 5 funds and making them actually work for you, because most of us who work 9 to 5 jobs feel stuck. Yes, we feel so stuck and we feel as if there is nowhere where we are going and there's nothing that we can do with these salaries, because to be honest, the salary will never be enough. Hence, it is encouraged to always try have a second stream or a third stream of income if you can, because we need to learn how to manage our income intentionally, right? So that it builds more wealth and not debt. We are supposed to learn how to align our funds in a way that we do not just wait paycheck to paycheck. And it's quite devastating, I must say, to have nothing during the month. And most of us actually live that way, and it is the truth. We don't know how to manage our funds. Yes, most of us are okay with living paycheck to paycheck, but I'm speaking to those who are uncomfortable. It is not healthy to live paycheck to paycheck. So in today's videos, I'm going to give you guys 5 steps, which I am still practicing. I'm also still practicing these. So later on in my YouTube videos, as time goes by, I will come back and do a review on whether these are working for me or not. Because it is pointless for me to give you guys this advice if I'm also not practicing it in my life. Like I said, this channel is about growing with time. So number 1 is, do not increase your debt as your salary increases. Do not increase your debt as your salary increases. When I read this, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm a victim of that. Because I remember first job that I got, the first thing I did was go and open an account, a clothing account. And yeah, so I kind of regretted it, because after COVID, times were tough. And I was put back for a while, not so long, just a short while, but that short while actually did mess up my finances, but I managed to bounce back. And then I had to start this apprenticeship 2 years ago, and I had to adjust from having a salary that was like beyond my means to having a stipend. That is when I actually realized that it is not safe to keep making debts based on your income. It is not safe to make more debts as you earn your income. And it's messed up because eventually it will catch up with us. For now, I might feel like I can manage to pay that account. But push comes to shove, and there are circumstances in life that will put me in a position where I will not be able to pay for that account. What I read when I was doing more research on this topic is that you need to draft a salary budget plan. And there's this thing called the 50-30-20% rule that people actually apply to their salary so that it doesn't overwhelm them, and within that budget you can still have enough money to pay your debts, pay your rent, and also enjoy your life as well. But it comes with a bit of some discipline. Hence I started by reading that passage over there, because you need to have self-discipline as a person, and we all know these things, but we just refuse to apply them in our lives, and somehow it becomes so difficult for us to apply these things in our lives. Because I'm pretty sure most of you guys who are watching this now have heard of the 50-30-20% rule, but you are currently not applying it. So here they say 50% needs to go to essentials, 30% needs to go to your wants, and 20% needs to go on your financial goals, like your savings and your investments and so forth. So 50% essentials would include your rent, your food is in there, your utilities, your car, your debts, your debts that are actually your main debts, like your home loans and your car loans and so forth. And the 30% would be going out. I'm not saying use all your 30% to go out, but if you go into the 30%, you need to categorize what your wants are and try split that 30% percentage into all of these. So it might sound like it's a lot for now, but it's really not a lot. And by 50%, I'm not meaning 50% of your salary must go to rent. No, 50% is your essentials, and that 50% needs to be split between your rent, your car, your food, and your loans. So in a way, to be safe, you can actually say plus minus 15% on rent. So 15% of your income should go to rent, 15% of your income should go to your loans, 15% of your income, and so forth, guys. The last one is the 20%, which is our financial goals, which is saving and investing, which we will get into later on in this video. The second point is keep living below your means. I don't know how many times I'm going to stress that. I don't know how many times I'm going to stress that. Guys, try live below your means. Like, please don't try impress us. Please, only try impress yourself. Because there's nothing that the society is going to do for you. If you are broke and you can't afford, to be honest, people are not going to help you out of that situation because you put yourself in that situation. And I have that saying that I cannot feel sorry for a person who put themselves in that situation. It might sound brutal, but that is how I've managed to stop caring where I don't have to care. And in a way, I'm not saying I'm a person who doesn't care in general. I do. But sometimes you just need to put yourself first, because over caring for people sometimes will also put you in debt. So I have put up that saying for myself that I cannot feel sorry for a person who put themselves in that position. To be honest, you know that month end, this is what you have to do. Why are you going to club, and why are you spending on a bottle of something that you cannot even afford when you're at home? Try and keep your expenses low, right? That is simple. And that is something I practiced. I practiced a lot, and I am still practicing it to a point that I went to staying alone to actually sharing a room. Like, by a room, I don't mean a 2-bedroom flat. No, I mean a bedroom. My bed here, my roommate's bed here. But I had a nice roommate. Shout out to her. Anyway, back to topic. What I'm trying to say is most people who are still finding their feet find it hard to actually share. And this is what my lecturer once said to us. It's like he saw the future somehow. He once called us one by one in class. This was during my apprenticeship. And he asked us that, would you guys mind sharing your room with someone while you are still doing your on-job trainings? And to be honest, I was one of the people who said yes. So confidently so, because in my head I'm like, ain't no ways. Like, I don't see myself doing that. Until I had to move from Germiston to Kempton Park. And that is where I found out Kempton Park accommodation is expensive. And in order for you to be comfortable in a cleaner place, you have to share that space with someone else. But if you want to stay alone, you're gonna have to bear to the most uncomfortable and sanitary situations ever. And I wasn't budging my hygiene. So what I did is that I adjusted my budget, and I found myself a cute roommate, and we stayed together right through until the time when I had to move, which was like late last year. But I was happy, I don't want to lie, and it made things a whole lot simple, because through that I was able to afford rent, and I was able to go to work to do my on-job training until a time where I got a better on-job training, and that is when things started making sense in our lives, you know. So now at least instead of 2.5k, I was getting more than that. So it made things a whole lot better. But even once I started getting more, I didn't move and I didn't betray her and be like, okay, cool, now we're getting more. You on your own, I'm on my own, I'm on my fancy apartment. No, we stayed together. We continued with the budget that we were living with. And it made our lives so much easier, because I love food. I love nice groceries, and I could afford to eat what I wanted to eat. And I could afford to go to work, come back, still pay my bills, and still manage to go out here and there. You know, it made life a whole lot easier having a roommate, although it is something that people might not recommend. It's not easy. Our third point, track your finances. Ooh. Yeah, I struggle at doing that. But what they mean by that is that you need to try to do a monthly review on where you spend your finances each and every single month. So the same way towards the end of the month, you will do a budget plan on how you're going to spend your money. At the end of the month, before the salary comes in, do a budget review or a financial review on where you spent your money. So that way you can identify your weaknesses and where you went wrong, and hopefully fix it next month to try not to spend outside of that budget plan again. It's going to help you identify your wrong spendings, your spendings that are unnecessary, and this way you will also be able to see your triggers. What triggers you to spend more money? What is triggering me to keep spending? What is triggering me to keep swiping this salary that I don't have? You know? And the moment you become that financially disciplined, the discipline of following through and following your budget plan and doing a financial analysis at the end of the month, that is a level of discipline that even I am still praying for today. Yes, I do pray for financial discipline, because it is tricky out here. You need to pray for your financial disciplines. You need to pray to reach that level of financial discipline where you know that this is where I am now, and no one's gonna tell me anything. If this is my budget, then I am not spending outside my budget for whatever reason. And that will actually save you. Same thing as tracking your finances. It will save you at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you will thank yourself. And number 4, start a business or a side hustle that aligns with your skills. Oof. I know the first question some of you guys are gonna have in your head is, but I don't have a skill. Everyone has a skill. You just need to sit down and find it. And with me, I was quite good at selling. I'm quite good at selling. I used to sell clothes. I used to have an online thrift store. At work, there was a time when I used to sell eggs. It's what I find that I'm good at it, but I don't like it. And it's just one of the skills that I possess and I have, you know. So it makes it easier for you to sit down with yourself, self-introspect, and look deep within yourself as to what is it that I'm good at. And I believe that everyone is good at something. It can be something as simple as teaching primary school kids, tutoring them, opening an extra homework class for them for weekends, or get yourself that TEFL certificate to start teaching Chinese, English online. It is so broad, the world that we live in. It accommodates everyone. It accommodates the shy people, and it accommodates the people who are out there. And if you're shy, try e-commerce, Takealot, look into it. Look into selling stuff on Takealot. It doesn't have to be big stuff. Something as simple as phone cases, something as simple as stationery. These are things that people buy on a day-to-day. I heard Amazon was also going to come to South Africa and start offering that, but I'm not sure if it's already started or not, because I stopped looking into e-commerce. But you can do branding, branding. Yes, start your own branding business where you actually brand people's cups, books, t-shirts. What else? There's a lot that you can take up and that you can find and that you can use within yourself. I know some people will find it hard running a social media page. Like me, I'm still finding it a bit challenging. And YouTube requires you to actually have active social media pages in order for you to get people to click onto your videos. So it becomes a bit hard. But I'm trying to get out of that comfort zone of not posting at all to trying to post at least once a week. It's not easy, but you need to get into it. So start a side hustle that aligns with your skill. And remember, guys, that small starts do matter. I will emphasize this. I emphasized it in my first video, in my second video, and I'm emphasizing it again today. Small starts do matter. Small starts go a long way. It's better to start small than to not start at all. Another thing that is important, I might be going a bit off topic now, but it falls under starting a business or a high side hustle that aligns with your skill. So most of us now are at an age where we are looking into getting homes, we are looking into getting apartments. Try look in areas where it is not expensive. Try get a house in those new developments that are not expensive. Yeah. Why I'm gonna say that is because people in those areas are always looking to rent out the place. So you can literally get that house because you have the upper hand of getting approved with your bond and rent it out to someone else. But in the meantime, open your rooms at the back. Someone once said on these TikTok videos that I listened to that the youth needs to start focusing on buying land. The youth needs to start focusing on doing debts that will bring in an income, or using what they have, which is your credit score and your ability to get granted a loan, to actually bring in an income. And this is where we fail, because it is so natural of us to want to get a good paying job. After getting that good paying job, my next step is to get a car. After getting that car, my next step is to get a home loan approved and stay in a house. So people, once they get those three things, they believe that they have made it in life. But did you really make it in life if your salary is holding all these things? It doesn't make sense for one salary to hold everything. It can never make sense to me for your salary to hold everything, that you are burdening your salary. So please, guys, let's just try be more creative as to how we go about and what we do with our finances. Last but not the least, invest and save. Investments and savings. I know that's boring. It's probably the last thing you wanted to hear me say, but it's true. Saving can go a long way and investing can go a long way. And you are doing it for a rainy day. You need to always take a portion of your salary and just lock it in a savings account, in an emergency fund, or in an investment account. Or you can buy stocks, you can use easy equity, buy those shares, do something, but a portion of your money has to be somewhere where it is locked and doing some work, or where it is locked and you keep adding in. And I can't say anything further on that because I am not a financial advisor. But basic knowledge, we need to open those investment accounts, we need to open those savings accounts, and we need to start buying those shares and trying or considering investing in stocks. That brings me to the end of my video. Thank you so much for tuning into this video today. As I did say in the beginning, these 5 points are the 5 points that stood out for me when I was doing my research. Because like I said, and I will keep saying, the advice that I'm sharing on this platform is the advice that I am also still currently following it. So there will be a time where I do a recap as to how far I've gone with these and how far I'm going, and if I'm coping and if I'm not coping, where my lacks are, so we can continue to grow one another and we can continue to have these uncomfortable conversations about money where we hopefully inspire one another to do better. We need to do better than our parents. We need to try create those wealths for the future generations, and not just the generation that comes after you, but the generation that will come after those generations and so forth. They need to know that their grandparents was great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents were smart as people who didn't want their kids suffering. You need to make sure that your future generation lives the life that you wanted to live. Don't feel stuck because you didn't live that life, so they should suffer as well. You know, whatever we do it for the future gens. We do it for our future babies. What I know is I don't want my kids to suffer, and you probably don't want your kids to suffer, and we want them to be the most happiest people on earth. So it all starts and begins with financial education, educating yourself financially. And when you read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, please put in some thought when reading it. Do not try and copy exactly what he did, because there's more to these books than what we actually think, you know? And what worked for Robert at that time might not work for you. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that I left you guys with a bit of some insights, and I hope that you will try, like me, follow through these steps. So yes, let us get into it, guys. Let us live a financially fit life. Let us kill it. Let us kill these generational wealths. And thank you so much again for joining me. Please do like, subscribe, and click the share button. Comment below. Do whatever it is that you have to do. I just want you guys to please engage with me. So yes, let's just please engage with one another after watching these videos, so I know as a person as well where I fix and where I continue to fix so we can grow. Anyway, thank you so much guys, and catch you next time. Bye.